Cats are awesome. That's the only reason you really need.
Hey guys, so today we thought we'd do something different and give you our top reasons of why you should adopt a cat.
Reason number 1. Cats are awesome.
I think any cat lover can agree on that.
They are cuddly for the most part. They are beautiful. They are independent. They are very funny. I think one of the things that I like most about cats compared to dogs, and I do love dogs as well. I'm not one of those
We're animal people in general, but yes, cats hold a special place in our heart.
And I always say if I had to choose to only own one, I would definitely choose a cat over a dog. And one of the main reasons is that I actually really love the fact that cats are so independent and that they are actually easier to keep than dogs.
They're less high maintenance. Like they can entertain themselves or they don't mind being left alone for a little while. Whereas dogs, you kind of always feel bad. I
feel like it's kind of like the difference between having a toddler and having a teenager, where the dog would be the toddler that you really can't leave alone or shouldn't leave alone that long, and you need to put a lot more effort into them, into training, into entertaining them, whereas cats are fairly happy to be on their own, and sometimes they actually choose to be on their own, where you try to entertain them and they're like, no, this is not happening right now. And that's great, especially for people who aren't at home all the time, who have work. That means that you don't have to worry if you leave the house, because you know that your pet will be fine without you for a couple of hours. As long as they get entertained when you're back, and obviously you can still give them the best life possible and entertain them and feed them and so on and so forth, but you don't have to worry about the finer details, basically.
But for me also, one of the coolest things is they make really great companions while you're working at home and that kind of stuff. Like you can be sitting at your desk and one of them will be cuddled up on your lap and one might be sitting on your desk. You never really feel alone with them around, which is nice. Whereas a dog, I don't know, there might always be that need for attention. I suppose they can also sit there by you, but I don't know.
Most dogs are a little bit higher maintenance, and so are other pets. Whereas cats, like Toby said, I mean, they sleep, I think on average, 18 hours is a normal span for cats. Which means that, and I think they're most active at dawn and dusk, if I'm not mistaken. So during the day, I mean, Momo is quite active for a cat, but all the others are relatively happy. I mean, this morning I worked for 2-3 hours, and the entire time Alice was napping on my lap while Cabby was napping on the cat bed next to me. And they didn't seem bothered at all. And obviously every now and then when I take a break, I'll give them a stroke and we'll have a little like cuddle session. And they're just happy to have us around and not needing specific entertainment in that moment. Another great thing about cats is that they don't really need to be trained in any way. Whereas dogs, and I mean, we know this because we have Sasha, who you met in our previous video. She went through 2 years of training just to make sure that she behaves herself in the park and she can hang out with other dogs and with kids and so on and so forth. It's obviously a big worry, especially with her being a pit bull. Whereas with the cats, I mean, we didn't even litter training when they're kittens. We basically just show them where the litter box is, put them into it once, and they just kind of figure it out on their own.
Unless you're this Siamese boy over here.
Who was a bit trickier. But we figured it ended up being, well, most of our cats go outside, as I think we mentioned in a different video. But
Momo is very particular. He's
yes,
very adamant that his litter box is clean and pristine at all times.
That was the only issue we had with him. He will, and he's the only cat who has that. The other cats, unless it's raining, will go in the garden. So will Momo, by the way. But at night, Momo doesn't want to go into the garden, so he will use the litter box at night. And we found that if there's anything in that litter box, and I really mean anything, he will refuse to use it. So the only added thing for us is that we need to make sure in the morning and in the evening that the litter box is clean, and clean it throughout the day if necessary. But except for that, our cats are completely untrained. We got them and they just adjusted to life, and obviously they do a couple naughty things which you can then, I guess, train them not to do, like not going onto counters and so on and so forth. But in general, it's much easier to keep cats than to keep dogs. There's a lot less, I don't want to say responsibility to it, but there really is less responsibility to it.
But you can train them though, as our Training Momo video shows, and there is going to be a follow-up to that at one point. We've been training him high five, and what's that other one that you've been doing? That stand up.
A stand up. I'm doing the real high five, the elevated high five.
Okay. Anyways, that's coming at one point. I really enjoy, like, one of the reasons I love them is to play with them, Momo specifically. It's so much fun going out in the garden and him chasing the toy around.
Another great thing about cats, and that's actually been scientifically researched, I believe, is that, and I believe that also applies to dogs, it's actually a general pet thing, is that because they're such great companions, they're very good for emotional support. And I know that cats specifically have been proven that their purring has some really beneficial aspects for emotional well-being and so forth. So that's one of the things I love about cats, is the fact that you'll have a cat come to you at night or in the evening when we watch TV, and they'll just curl up on us and show us that they love us, and then you can give them a little head scratch and they will purr to no end. And for me, it's one of the most comforting sounds, and it makes me feel better, and obviously that means the cat is happy. So it's kind of a beneficial exchange.
Yeah, and it might sound crazy, but I feel like they know when we're feeling down or when we're sick. If one of us is sick in bed or something, the cats will just congregate to that person and cuddle up to them and purr, and it's almost like they want us to feel better. Yeah, I don't know how to explain it. Unless you have a cat, I don't think you would understand, really.
Might not be all cats as well. For us, specifically Kebby, funny enough, who is generally quite independent, has a big thing for people who are sick. So she won't be super cuddly any other day, but if you have a flu or you're staying in bed and she realizes something is off about you, she will follow you around like a little lost puppy. And whenever you sit, she'll immediately be on your lap, and she'll purr, and she'll try to get cuddles out of you, and she'll basically motivate you to interact with her, and in a way that'll make you feel better.
Then another great thing I would say is cooking is always an adventure in this house, because if you pull out any kind of meat, the cats will be meowing on the floor and going crazy.
They have radar hearing or something. I swear, if we open a can of anything, and they can be outside in the garden, and they will just magically all appear, all of them.
Yeah, that, but also it's so fun if you're chopping vegetables or something, you just hold up a carrot, then they all want to sniff it, then you give them a little sniff, and you see these interesting reactions. Kebby might even try and take a bite, whereas the other cats don't really care.
Kebby will always try to take a bite.
Yeah, so it's super entertaining to see what foods they might be interested in.
And sometimes they're really, really naughty about food. We had a situation just the other day where we decided to eat in the lounge instead of at the table, like we should. And I looked away for 5 seconds, not even, and Kebby ran away with my chicken breast.
Yeah, so cooking is always an adventure.
And it's always fun. You'll never know. They're really like teenagers. They're so temperamental as well. And I think that's something that I enjoy about them more than I enjoy about dogs. Again, we're not hating on dogs. But dogs, one of the great thing about them is that they're so forgiving, and they're always, like, they're basically pure love. They just want to make you happy no matter what happens. Whereas cats have a little bit more personality in a way. Like, if we go away for a week or so and we come back, we have sulkers. We have cats that will genuinely ignore us just because we weren't there.
I'm not sure if it's a personality thing. I think dogs also have personality, but I think it's an attitude thing.
Yes.
Cats will hold grudges, whereas dogs will just forgive you for always and ever.
Yes, I mean, you accidentally step on Sasha's tail and she will apologize to you. You step on Alice's tail, she will probably try to claw at your leg and then ignore you for the rest of the day. And then possibly try to destroy your shoe or something.
That was actually one of my next points, which I really love, is each and every one of them has a different personality. And we get a lot of questions on the group or on our page about, are Siamese cats friendly, are black cats friendly? And it's not a breed thing, it's a personality trait of the cat most of the time.
Each individual cat is different.
Exactly, and how you treat it and how you bring it up will affect them. And the other exterior factors like their environment will always play a huge role. But ultimately, they're all individuals and they all have these cool little character traits that they have. And it was really great to watch them grow up.
And as they grow older, they will also change. Alice, for example, you might be surprised to know that when she was younger, so I think between ages, well, when we got her, she was 1. So 1 and 4 probably. She was really independent. She really didn't want humans. She would sleep at the bottom of the bed and get fed, but then she would spend her days outside and didn't really bother with us. And now she's probably the most human-attached cat we have, except for Momo. She will always come and cuddle. If we go into the garden, she will immediately get up from wherever she's sleeping and come join us.
She's a different kind of cuddly. She'll actually come cuddle on you, whereas Momo just needs to be near humans.
Yes.
Like at the moment he's lying on the bed with us, but Alice is lying on us.
Yes. So she's very much, as she grew older, she's become more and more cuddly, and she just loves to be around people. And that's one of those weird things where as she grew older, she changed and her personality changed. So it's also just because and I mean, obviously it is like humans as well. As we grow older, we may change personalities a little bit. And so you can't rely on the fact that if you have a kitten who's super playful, that doesn't mean that kitten won't be a cuddly, lazy bum later in life. Keeps things interesting. Yeah. Another positive that I can think of, is having a cat is basically like having a wild animal in your house. Like,
or a child, depending how you see it.
Like, they really are still so... Again, dogs, unfortunately, are so domesticized. Cats, you can still tell that there's a lot of that raw, wild behaviors. Like the hunting and the chasing and all of that is still in there. They're really very, very raw in the end. Because, I mean, they're all, no matter which one of our cats you take, they all have instincts to hunt. If there's a lizard, or even if we just play with a laser pointer or something like that, they all have that instinct to hunt, and they still have those wilder features, which I think is amazing, and it's actually really fun to watch.
So for me, it was also great during the lockdown to have them around. I can't imagine having gone through that without them. When you needed a bit of a distraction, they were there. You could play with them, or even, it sounds stupid, but talk to them. Momo will talk back pretty much every time, and you can hang out with him and do something. And it was great as a distraction just to forget about everything that's going on and so on. And I really can't imagine not having them around, just for that family aspect of things.
Yes, we weren't allowed to hang out with family, but we did have our little family at home, and more than one family member to distract ourselves with. Which
is really great if you think about it. I mean, to us the cats are family, they're not just pets. When we go on holiday, we stress about them probably more than about other things.
The pets in my life are the main reason why we don't go on holiday a lot. Because there's obviously a lot of responsibility that comes with being a pet owner, but also we're so attached to them that the thought of something happening while we're not there, or just, you know, how the mind works, you immediately think about it too much, and you think about all the things that are going to happen. So what we usually do is we try to see if one of our family members can come and stay in the house, and that way we know that there's always someone more or less around.
So it does add a level of complexity to everything, but in the end it really is worth it. I think having cats is one of the greatest things you can do.
Those are some of the reasons why we love having cats as pets. If you have any other reasons you can think of, or if you have any questions, please feel free to drop us a comment and we'll try to get back to you as quickly as possible. Please consider please consider subscribing and liking our channel and our video, and see you in the next one. Bye!
Cheers.